Coming to you live from Oracle Code 2019 in San Francisco. I'm Bob Rubart with the Oracle Groundbreakers team, and we're kicking off the day with an interview with my good buddy Scott Spendolini. How you doing, Scott?
Well, I'm not sure how closely you follow the NFL, being from Cleveland, but we got
I'm trying to put that all behind me.
Yeah, we got some pretty bad news out of Pittsburgh this morning. Yeah, Big Ben's done for the year. So
wow,
not good waking up to that.
I had not heard that. Well, you have my condolences.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an 0-2 start, so maybe it was meant to be. My Syracuse Orange are 1-2. I'm just counting the days till college basketball starts.
So, football aside, you're an Oracle ACE Director.
Yes.
And tell the folks at home what you do, where you work.
Sure. I specialize in Oracle Application Express, or Apex, and I work at a company called Viscosity. I run the Apex practice there. So we have a group of about 15, 20 developers that build applications that are based on, in some way, shape, or form, Application Express.
And you're doing a session here tomorrow, actually, tomorrow afternoon. That's it. Pardon me while I look at my notes. That session is Stay Out of Technical Debt with Oracle Application Express. Explain the concept of technical debt. What exactly are you talking about?
Sure. Technical debt, I think, is probably something most people don't want to talk about, right? It's kind of like financial debt, right? No one is real proud to walk around and say, hey, I'm 20 grand in debt because I haven't paid my credit card bills, or I've taken out some payday loan or whatever. No one wants to admit that they have technical debt. And what technical debt is, it's things you've done, it's decisions you've made that make it really difficult to change and really difficult to maintain the systems year over year over year. One of the worst things that could happen, and I've seen this with Apex, with other technologies, is people have kind of gone outside the lines, right? I've done my own code, I've written something, I've done something that's a little bit less than standard, but it appeased an esoteric user request, and now I could make interactive reports do something that it normally can't. That's a really cool short-term gain because you get your users excited about it. But when you go to update the next version of Apex, your change may break. And then what happens is, because of that debt, you don't upgrade Apex. So you're making this decision, do I go to a more performant, more secure, more feature-rich platform, or do I stay back because somebody wanted interactive reports to look different? And take that and multiply it times 100, and then you've got all kinds of technical debt in your environment. And it just cripples you, right? It really, it prohibits you from moving forward and keeping up. And nowadays, with security being just so important, you don't want to be even a release behind. You want to stay on the major releases of any technology.
So with Apex in the mix, what specifically does Apex do to help you reduce that debt? What steps can you take?
So Apex itself doesn't do anything, but if you use it correctly, it does a lot. I have applications I've written in 2007, and because I stuck to the core components, right? I used the report feature that was available back in 2007. It doesn't have all the features that maybe I wanted back then, but I stuck to it. I could take that app today and it'll run flawlessly. And systems that were built 10, 15 years ago, typically the technology changes, you've got a lot of development that has to occur every couple of years. With Apex, if you stick to the core, because it's a low-code platform, it'll just continue to work. You could do upgrades, and obviously you want to test things, but the more you've stuck to the core components of the tool, the more likely your upgrades will be pretty much flawless.
So what's the key takeaway, without any spoilers for your session tomorrow? What's the key takeaway, the one thing that people should remember about reducing that technical debt?
The key takeaway is you're going to pay now or pay later. It's really that simple. You know, making good decisions and making sure that you build to the capability of the platform. And then Apex has the ability to extend the platform using plugins. So I'm not saying never go outside the box, but limit those adventures to very few and just very highly regulated. We're going to build a plugin. We're going to adhere to all the plugin standards. So as Apex upgrades, you're going to be okay. I mean, as you know, Oracle has changed the way the release cycles work now on the database side. Apex is averaging 2 a year. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, it took 18 months to get one. So the pace is picking up, right? And people are going to see 19.2. I know the early adopter was just announced literally a couple days ago. People are going to want to be on 19.2 as soon as it comes out to do the new features that it has. You want to make sure that your upgrades aren't going to be something that prohibits you, and staying inside the lines in a lot of cases is going to help you.
So you're VP at Viscosity. What occupies most of your time? Do you get to do any cool work?
Sometimes. I wrote some code the other day. It was pretty neat. It's an average day is kind of crazy for me, right? It's make sure projects are on track, attending some of the Scrum calls, working with the developers, providing guidance, building training. We have a new product that we've got up and running now called AMP. So managing that, making sure that that's all working, doing sales, being on sales calls, being here for this week. I was sitting at the bar the other day, troubleshooting an orders issue for a customer on a Sunday afternoon.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Your specialty is database app development. Within that sphere, over the past year, what has been the biggest change that you've noticed?
The biggest change is DevOps, I think. And DevOps are interesting to me because I don't think you need them for every scenario. And I know that goes against pretty much what everybody here is talking about this week. But if you have an Apex application that, let's say it's 50 pages or less, one, maybe two developers, and is just average sophistication, right? Some PL SQL code, some business logic, but nothing terribly difficult. Adding all the different layers where you're taking Apex and you're splitting it and you're checking it in and doing all this stuff. Sure, there's use for automated testing, absolutely. But getting to the extreme point of where some of these DevOps architectures are, I think is really going to make it harder. It's going to extend the life cycle of development with Apex. And that's one of its major strengths. So it's curious, and I'm anxious to see how the Apex team attacks this problem. They are working on it. They are aware of it, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't brand new to them, but making the tool a little bit more DevOps friendly so that building an app that I could do in an hour doesn't take me 2 hours because I have to use 1 hour to do all the configuration and learn all the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's also a learning curve too, right? I mean, it's Apex is low code, so low code's in the database and there's not files. So understanding how to extract an Apex app and how to split it and how to integrate it into these workflows takes a little bit of time too. DevOps, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I mean, it's for better or for worse. And it's going to be interesting to see how people adjust to it. Customers are really starting to ask about that. And right now I tell them every single customer is doing it differently. There's no two that are the same. Some skip entire steps, right? Some don't do automated testing, and that's not good. But I also tell them there's 8 different points in the DevOps, the CI/CD cycle. Focus on getting really good at maybe 1 or 2, and then take on the next 2, and then take on the next 2. It's really unrealistic to say today we're going to go through DevOps this afternoon, and Monday morning we're going to be 100% DevOps ready. I just think that's a way to make people not like them.
So let's fast forward 12 months. If I ask you that very same question next year about what's been the biggest change you've noticed, what do you think you'll say then?
Oh, man. Can you ask me that question later today? This NDA, man, it's killing me. I can't really get into the specifics, but I guess I could drop a hint, and I don't think it'll be a surprise to anyone that autonomous is going to have a big impact. Mm-hmm. Every sign I've seen walking over to Moscone has the word autonomous on it. I really think, again, for Apex applications, not all of them are massive, hundreds of thousands of users, thousands of screens. A good majority of them are that mid-tier development where most work in any organization gets done. So a couple hundred users, a couple thousand users, 30 users for some organizations. And having an autonomous database where the DBAs don't have to deal with the mundane stuff. Hey, the query's running slow. Hey, I need more table space. Hey, I need to upgrade Apex. DBAs have plenty to work on, right? I mean, if you look at OCI and all the different features and all the different parts of that, there's a lot that a DBA has to learn now, or AWS or any of the other cloud vendors. So being able to say these applications, which are chatty. They give me something to do and something to have to care and feed after. I can move that to a tier where I can just kind of keep it over here, sort of keep an eye on it, but understand that 90% of the chatter is going to automatically get taken care of. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And that's really going to change the way I think organizations look at architecting how their infrastructures work.
Thank you for your time.
As always, I'm glad I get to start this, so the bar's nice and low for all the other interviewees.
It's only up from here. And thank you for watching. I'm Bob Rubart with the Oracle Groundbreakers team. Stay tuned.